Kscope 2015 in Florida.
So we're here at Kscope 15 in Florida, and I'm Todd Trichler, developer outreach advocate, and I've got Tim St. Hilaire here. Tim, I sat in on your responsive design conference, and I was interested to find out that your background is like military air defense. You got BAE and Lockheed Systems, and a lot of really high-end, what you would expect, enterprise-level, security-conscious applications. And you're doing a talk on Apex responsive web design. That leads me to ask you, okay, one, is Apex really ready for large-scale applications? I believe it is, but sometimes you hear people saying, well, it's more, an Excel replacement. And if that is the case, can you give us an example, without getting anybody in trouble, of some really, say, high-end applications that you've seen built with Apex?
Right. Basically, the story that I tell regarding Apex and enterprise development and security is that it's like any type of environment. You have to know how to develop in it securely. The Oracle database is a very secure tool when set up properly. You can also set it up very badly. Apex is no different from that standpoint because it leverages the tools you already have in the database. It can use all of that security capability, include the web piece, and you've got a very nice tool for solving real problems. My history in the aerospace and defense industry was building applications that helped solve problems and improve the business. Our goal was to try and bring overheads down and to increase productivity. And we implemented throughout my time there very close to 100 different applications that spanned everything from finance to manufacturing to service. So we were really looking at end-to-end life cycle. Many of those were internal. We actually started branching into some that became international to actually reference a group that was actually across the pond, if you will.
Wow.
So it was an easy interface that we were allowed to use to share non-sensitive information, again, following all of the rules of any defense contractor, but making sure that we could actually share that securely and allow an efficient exchange of information.
Excellent. So those were actually internet applications deployed in a secure way, not even ones that were protected by an air gap.
There was no air gap in that case. We had without getting into too many details, it was still an intranet, but it was an extended international intranet. So it was a secure network.
Yeah. And the reason, you could have chosen any application to build those. Why did you choose Apex 100 applications? That you've obviously made a conscious choice to actually use that tool set to do that.
Right. The conscious choice there was, it's a data application. We were pushing data. We were moving data. We were sharing data. So we wanted to make sure that we used a tool that wasn't just pushing files, but actually was able to share data that we were able to leverage the investment we had made in Oracle. So Oracle as a tool to get the most out of it, leverage the investment with the features of the database.
Excellent. Now, moving on to Apex 5, since that was your presentation, with responsive design, what's the major changes that you've seen that you've liked from 4.2 to 5? Easier to implement? What would you say? The
best thing that we're looking at right now, or the pieces that we're really excited about was, so similar to my talk, there's a lot of things you can do to make the interface very dynamic and very customer-centric, but there's a lot of things you can do to make it very usable by the average user. And the whole purpose there was, if you can make it predictable, then it becomes an effective user tool that they can do work with quickly. So 5 has a lot of expected changes into it that people expect out of web applications, and it makes it very easy for the developer to put those features that you would expect of any web application into a database-centric application.
And the advantage of that, of course, is once it's in the database, you can scale it, you can back it up, and since the whole Apex application pretty well runs in the database.
You have that, you have access to all the analytics, you have the access to all the high-speed query structures that you want without having to process files. There's no Excel spreadsheets that somebody has to manually fiddle, and we also have all of the security auditing around it too. So with that in there, you can understand who can see the data. You can control who can see it, how they get to it, and can they change it. And that's something that you can't do when you start taking it offline.
So full circle back, it's not just an Excel replacement. You're thinking it's a little bit more secure and enterprise than that?
Yes. We have the ability there to say, regardless of the customer, so the customers I'm working with now, we're taking a look even at the Oracle Cloud. So we're actually doing the full database as a service and
nice.
putting Apex in as the front end. So again, it's a secure environment that we can actually control who has access, how much, and then expose just the information that we need.
So now would that actually be the database schema service or the database as a service in the cloud? Which one are you guys actually looking at?
The one we have right now in that we're working with a customer on is the database in the cloud.
Okay.
So it's the whole server end to end. So and learning some of the new scripts and things that they put in place to make maintaining that a lot simpler. So it's got some very positive inroads.
So have you played around with some of the tools that Chris Rice and those guys have been building to publish it up easily and back down again?
Yes, yes. We've been, the data movement we haven't done yet, but it's definitely something I learned about while I was at this conference, and I'm interested in trying it.
Yeah, that looks really good. I saw some demos of that. I'm like, wow, if it's that easy to go from on-premise to in the cloud and back, then we really, I mean, they've done a good job of thinking that one through.
Yeah, the PDB structure is definitely something that as people's mindset changes, is going to really change how we deal with larger data sets.
Excellent. Well, Tim, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.